Okay, we just talked about change of mindset.
Yes.
Read that, a change of mindset. Read that.
Here.
Yeah.
Un cambio de mentalidad. Un cambio de mentalidad en la recuperación se refiere a transformar la perspectiva, los pensamientos y las actitudes para fomentar la sanación, el crecimiento y el bienestar a largo plazo. Se trata de desarrollar nuevas formas de pensar, romper patrones negativos y adoptar creencias más saludables. Este cambio es menudo esencial para superar la adicción, el trauma y otros desafíos personales. Que la mentalidad de una persona influye en sus comportamientos, elecciones y capacidades para perseverar en la recuperación.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Now, a change of mindset. In recovery refers to shifting one's perspective, thoughts, and attitudes in a way that fosters healing, growth, and long-term well-being. It's about developing new ways of thinking, breaking free from negative patterns, and embracing healthier beliefs. This shift is often essential for overcoming addiction, trauma, or other personal challenges, as a person's mindset influences their behaviors, choices, and ability to preserve through recovery. What we have up here is the cognitive behavior therapy model. The individual was talking about that he or she thought that they were confident enough that they can go out without picking up and using. It was shared that what we think affects how we act and feel. That's the thought. And I realized that every thought begins with a seed. Yeah. The emotion, what we feel, affects what we think and do. And then the behavior, what we do, affects how we think and feel.
Yeah.
The individual realized that he wasn't processing his thoughts. Mm-hmm. He was just going on a feeling, and therefore acting on that behavior. Now we are at point number 1, what it means to change your mind in recovery. Number 1, uno.
Reconocer patrones destructivos, comprender que ciertos procesos de pensamiento y creencias han contribuido y comportamientos dañinos. Cambiar tu mentalidad implica reconocer estos patrones y buscar alternativas más saludables.
Now, the individual recognized and agreed that in recognizing destructive behavior patterns, because he or she went back into that environment, they thought that they had this thing, and he realized that he didn't have it. Mm-hmm. And once you think you have it and you really don't have it, then there's more to be learned. See, and it says that he just read number 1, recognizing destructive behavior patterns, understanding the certain thought processes and beliefs have contributed to harmful behaviors. Changing your mind means acknowledging these patterns and seeking healthy alternatives. And this is what the individual accepted and identified with.
Yeah.
¿Correcto?
Yeah, correcto.
2.
Número 2, adoptar la responsabilidad. Aceptar la responsabilidad de tus elecciones y acciones, alejándote de culpar a los demás o a las circunstancias por tu situación.
Okay. Now, I'm going to get the individual to elaborate on this, because this number 2 says, adopting accountability, accepting responsibility for your choices and actions, and moving away from blaming others or circumstances for your situation. Could you elaborate on that?
En realidad sí, no me había dado cuenta sobre adoptar la responsabilidad, y sí me tocó vivir de echarle responsabilidad a otras personas, como esa otra persona me confesó que yo siempre le estaba echando la culpa a esa persona, y yo no reconocía eso. Pero ahora que acepto mi error, que acepto todo mi culpa y mi responsabilidad, ahora sí lo veo como la otra persona me decía a mí, como yo me veía, pero yo estaba completamente ciego a lo que ella me decía, porque era mi decisión, era lo que yo creía, y no era lo que yo creía. Yo pensaba que yo estaba bien, yo no estaba bien. Yo solamente estaba actuando sobre un pensamiento que no era mío en el entorno. Y por esa razón ahora sí estoy reconociendo varias cosas, varios factores que son lo que me hacía falta a mí, que yo no me di cuenta de que me hacía falta esas responsabilidades, que son las que estoy aprendiendo ahora para de nuevo prender el motor y arrancar.
Yes, I had not realized about taking responsibility, and I did have to live by putting responsibility on other people. As that other person confessed to me that I was always blaming that person, and I did not recognize that, but now that I accept my mistake, I accept all my guilt and my responsibility. Now I do see it as the other person told me how I saw myself, but I was completely blind to what she was telling me because it was my decision. It was what I believed, and it was not what I believed. I thought I was fine. I was not well. I was just acting on a thought that was not mine. In the environment, and for that reason, now yes. I am recognizing several things, various factors that are what I was missing, that I did not realize that I was missing those responsibilities, which are what I am learning now to do again. Learn the engine and start.
Muchas gracias. Yeah. Now, as you see, the individual just expressed that as becoming accountable, adopting what? Accountability, without blaming others for his decisions or his choices. He's accepting responsibility for his actions. Now, we're going to move to thrash. Yes, we're going to move to number 3 when it comes to what it means to change your mindset, as this is being done in Spanish as well as English. Doing so to help those who are dealing with some form of addiction. Yes, substance abuse, whatever we want to classify or categorize. It is about trying to or doing our best to break socioeconomic barriers, anything that could hinder us or hinder an individual from learning, growing, developing, and becoming not only mature, but a decent, respectable human being.
Yeah.
Number 3, it says, shifting from a fixed to growth mindset. I'm going to read it in English, and then the individual is going to read it in Espanol. Instead of thinking, this is just who I am, a growth mindset believes I can change, improve, and heal. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. Read.
Número 3. Pasar de una mentalidad fija a una mentalidad de crecimiento. En lugar de pensar así soy yo, una mentalidad de crecimiento cree, puedo cambiar, mejorar y sanar. Se trata de ver los desafíos como oportunidades de crecimiento en lugar de obstáculos.
Elaborate on that.
Mentalidad de crecimiento, en lugar de pensamientos de quién soy yo, me doy cuenta que todavía me falta de conocer quién soy yo en realidad, porque me falta sanar bastante y cambiar, sobre todo mejorar y seguir luchando con los desafíos que la vida me está dando, las oportunidades nuevamente. Y la mentalidad, esa es la que no estabilizo entre la mentalidad fija con el crecimiento. A veces confundo mucho las cosas, pero en realidad no es lo que busco, no es lo que quiero para yo hacerme entender lo suficiente.
Growth mindset. Instead of thinking who am I realize that I still need to know who I really am. Because I need to heal a lot and change, above all, improve. And keep fighting with the challenges that life is giving me the opportunity to face again. And the mentality? That's the one that I don't stabilize between the fixed mindset and the growth. Sometimes I confuse things a lot, but in reality, no, it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I want to make myself understood enough.
Yes. He realized the importance of having a growth mindset. And having a growth mindset, you want to see any challenge that comes your way as an opportunity for growth. It also connects to problem-solving skills as it pertains to two in particular expressions of that: a pessimist and an optimist. A pessimist sees everything as something that is difficult, but an optimist sees sees things as an opportunity, sees difficulties as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And when you see difficulties as an opportunity for growth and development, that means that you have changed your perception of how you see yourself and how you see yourself in the world. And once you change your perception, then you change your perspective. And you have to be able to grab the bull by the horn and wrestle it down.
Yeah.
Because you are in control. There is nothing that you cannot handle. Now we're going to move to number 4. Cuatro. Yes. Number 4, developing self-compassion. You want to read it?
Número 4, desarrollar la autocompasión. Cambiar la mentalidad a menudo implica ser más amable contigo mismo, reemplazando la autocrítica con autoaceptación y entendimiento que la recuperación es un proceso con altibajas.
You want to elaborate on that?
Sí, en realidad, a veces me ha costado cambiar mi mentalidad, pero sí he tenido la capacidad de ser amable conmigo mismo, pero no he podido cambiar parte de la mentalidad. Esa es mi expresión. Sí tengo amabilidad, pero no he podido cambiar la mentalidad como se debe hacer. En la aceptación de mi problema mentalmente.
Yes, actually, sometimes it has been difficult for me to change my mentality. But I have had the ability to be kind to myself. But I have not been able to change part of the mentality. That is my expression. Yes, I have kindness, but I have not been able to change the mentality as it should be done in accepting my problem mentally.
Yes. Was number 4. I'm gonna elaborate on that or speak to that. We're going to do it. Developing self-compassion. We see in that expression, it says developing, which means that's something that happens over what? Over time. We have to establish that we have been doing things a certain way for so long, it can be difficult or it takes time to break that pattern. So it says that we're developing self-compassion. We have not been kind to ourselves, so we must be kind to ourselves. We must have self-compassion for ourselves, and that has to do with self-care. And he was talking about a mentality. I realized that your reality becomes your mentality, or your mentality becomes your reality. One of the two. They can be interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Yes. And yes. So we see here is that changing your mind often. Anytime we see the word often, that's something that you do on a frequent basis. It involves being on a continuing basis, being kinder to who? To yourself. Remember, some of us may want to be kind to ourselves, but we may not even know how to be kind, or we just may be kind 1 or 2 times to ourselves, and the rest of the day, we may be rough or hard on ourselves. We may be kind to ourselves 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes of a day, and the rest of the day that we're hard on ourselves. So remember, these repeat themselves, become habits. You must learn to practice and develop self-compassion by being kind to yourself consistently on a daily basis. And and doing so, you are on base. If we're playing baseball, in order to get on base, you got to come up to the plate. And when you come up to the plate, the pitcher's going to try to throw you a curveball, because life throws us curveballs. And sometimes someone throws you a fastball, and that fastball may be too fast for you. But you still have to stay focused and keep your eyes on the ball and develop a technique that works for you. One of the guys that were very powerful in developing a technique was a guy by the name of Barry Bonds. He understood how to develop a technique wherein that he may, I can't describe his technique, but he had one. I just can't describe his technique, but he had one. But all baseball players should develop a technique of how to hit the ball. But you must come with the right mindset that when you come up to the plate, that your aim is to not only hit the ball, but to get on base. Because if you get on base, that means someone else come behind you. That means that they can advance you to second base. And then who knows, they advance you all the way home, and then that's how you score runs, right?
Yeah.
So yes, but we must get on base. So, and changing your mindset, developing self-compassion, it often involves being kinder to yourself and replacing criticism. Don't be so critical, so hard on yourself. With self-acceptance, I often talk about the importance of self-acceptance and understanding that recovery is a process, and it has its ups and it has its downs. Isn't somewhat life like that? Dr. King said that progress is never a straight line, that it has its dips and it has its curves. You see, life ups and downs is almost like a roller coaster. Even though I don't like amusement parks because I'm not amused. but it has its ups and it has its downs. The thing is that we want to keep the balance. We want to keep the balance. That makes sense? Now, we want to go to number 5, embracing hopes and opportunity. Before you read, this is being done in Espanol as well as English so that we can help those who need the help when it comes to addiction and recovery. Read number 5.
Número 5. Abrazar la esperanza y el optimismo. Cultivar la esperanza para el futuro y creer en tu capacidad para superar desafíos, en lugar de sentirte atrapado en la desesperanza.
Want to elaborate on that?
En parte no he tenido el 100% de poder cultivar muchas cosas en mi pensamiento hacia el presente ni en el futuro. Pero sí, en realidad lo que tengo el conocimiento que sí hay que cultivar muchas cosas para tener fruto, y eso es en la capacidad de uno mismo y creer en los actos que tú haces junto con la esperanza.
Do you speak Spanish?
In part 1 have not had 100% of being able to cultivate many things in my thoughts towards the present nor in the future, but if in reality I have the knowledge that yes, you have to grow many things to have fruit, and that is in one's own capacity, and believe in the acts that you do along with hope.
Yes, as you see what he just shared about hope, there are things that go along with hope, as he expressed. I can't recall what was shared, but he was talking about embracing hope, because that was the basis of the number 5, cinco. Yes. Embracing hope. We have to be clear of not allowing anyone to give us false hope. And you can't give yourself false hope, which means that you promise something that you're going to do, but you don't come through on what you promise you say you're going to do. Huh?
Yeah.
So that means you're giving yourself hope. It's almost like unreal expectations. It's almost like you're setting yourself up for a fall or a failure. And I don't necessarily like that word, but I'm just trying to make a point, you know? One of the things that you can set you up for a fall and failure when it's come to recovery, we talked about it earlier, of being overconfident. Because you think you have it, then you realize that you don't have it. And for me, that's about ignorance. Ignorance is a result of hostility, as if there's nothing else to be learned. That what you think you know, you really don't know, then you realize there's more to be what? To be learned. Now, but you have to embrace the hope and the optimism. We talked about optimism before, being optimistic or being pessimistic. You know, there's some time when people can give you a solution. Every solution, somebody give you a problem. I just gave you the solution, and now you want the solution that I gave you. You see it as a problem, huh? That becomes challenging. So, but you want to embrace hope and optimisms. Fostering. What means that? Fostering means that you're nurturing hope. For what? For your future. Not, and even if when you foster hope for your future, you foster future for those who care about you. Huh? Yes. Because they want you to be around. They love you. They care for you. And if they don't care for you, more important is that you learn to care who? For yourself. Care about yourself. And that was number 4. Quadruples. Yes. Of accepting yourself or having self-compassion, self-care. Now, for the future. Now, remember, I often said, I've learned this from something, a quote. It says, the best way to create your future is that you have to predict it yourself. So, but you must believe in your ability to be able to do that. You must believe in your ability to be able to do that. Believe in your ability to overcome what? Challenges, instead of feeling or falling stuck in despair of hopelessness. Because remember, there are things that are set up to perpetuate your hopelessness. And you don't want to become a victim or play a part or parlay of perpetuating your own hopelessness. That makes sense to you? Now, we're going to do two more.
Yes.
In Espanol and English. We're going to do two. Responses to support a change of mindset in recovery. We're going to do uno, dos. We're going to do reframing negative thoughts. And then we're going to do dos, gratitude practice. Read uno.
Respuesta para apoyar un cambio de mentalidad en la recuperación. Número 1. Reformular pensamientos negativos. Cuando surjan pensamientos negativos, prácticas desafiarlos con alternativas positivas y neutrales. Por ejemplo, en lugar de pensar, no puedo hacer esto, reformarlo como esto es difícil, pero puedo aprender a manejarlo. Tengo una respuesta sobre la primera pregunta. Yo en mis años pasados, cuando yo estaba en la calle, yo estaba casado para ese tiempo, yo me intenté quitarme la vida yo mismo. Me tomé 86 Neurontin de 800 miligramos y más tenía un cuchillo en mis pulmones para ya quitarme la vida. Después de ese proceso he tenido los pensamientos, ya van unos 16 años ya de ese proceso, y desde que he tenido ese proceso he tenido pensamientos sobre actuar de esa misma manera, pero mi pensamiento cuando me vienen es que recuerdo ese momento que yo estaba tratando de quitarme la vida y se me desaparece por completo. Es como si fuera magia que se me desaparece con tan solo recordando ese pasado. Pero en cuestión de mi recaída ahora, tuve un pensamiento y no tuve el valor ni la compasión de tener esos mismos pensamientos para esquivar ese deseo que tenía de consumir.
Answer to support a mindset shift in recovery. Number 1. Reframing negative thoughts. When negative thoughts arise, practices challenging them with positive and neutral alternatives. For example, instead of thinking I can't do this, reframe them like this is difficult, but I can learn to manage it. I have an answer to the first question. In my past years, when I was on the street, I was married at that time. I tried to kill myself. I took 86 neuron of $800 mg and more. I had a knife in my lungs to kill myself. After that process, I have had the thoughts. It has been about 16 years since that process. And since I've had that process, I have had thought about current in that same way. But my thought when it comes to me is that I remember that moment that I was trying to take my life and it completely disappears. Hey, it's like it's magic that disappears just by remembering that past, but when it came to my relapse, now I had a thought and I didn't have the courage or the compassion to have those same thoughts to stave off that desire that I had to consume.
Yes, we see that actually number uno, reframing from negative thoughts, transitioned into number dos, gratitude practice. Only because the individual shared that those thoughts that he had before they're not as strong as they were then than they are what? Right now. So that means that he's learning how to manage his emotions. There are times that are things that we did that our thoughts were more stronger then, and right now they are not as stronger as they were before. So what's happening is that there is a reality of a mentality, and that mentality of that old reality is being killed. It's not the individual, but it's the mentality that is being killed. It is the mentality of what you used to do that you don't want to really do it anymore, but you're still struggling with it, but it doesn't have a stronger hold on you as it did before. And that's practicing gratitude. While at the same time, you are still reframing and developing self-compassion. You're reframing from your negative thoughts. And when negative thoughts arise, it says practicing what? Challenging them with positive or neutral alternative. Don't go overboard or don't go on the other side. First learn to deal with the side that you live in. There are some people that says that the grass is greener on the other side. Well, why is the grass greener on the other side? Well, won't you water the grass on the side of which you're on? Then your grass will become greener. Does that make sense? So we see here now that we must practice challenging with positive or neutral alternatives. For example, instead of thinking, I can't do this, refrain to what? This is hard, but I can learn to what? Handle it. And you know, when you see a picture in a frame, and you are in that picture, maybe 99% of the times, you see people in there, you're going to look for who? Yourself. Yeah. So that means that you have to look for yourself, look out for yourself, and being able to what? Take care of yourself. In doing so, you become more responsible for the choices and the decisions that you make. Gratitude, number 2. Then we're going to close out with that one. Dos, gratitude. Could you read that?
Número 2, práctica de gratitud. Cambia el enfoque de lo que falta o está mal hacia lo que es bueno en la vida. Tomar nota regularmente de las cosas por las que estás agradecido, incluso en pequeñas dosis, puede cambiar tu perspectiva en el tiempo. Sí, en realidad he tenido muchos planes en mi cabeza, y para mí son experiencias que yo he tenido o que voy a tener en el presente o las que vienen en el camino, y sí las pongo en práctica, pero no le presto atención porque no asimilo lo que estoy pensando, y eso me trae muchos problemas en el presente. Son cosas que no me había dado cuenta, que ahora sí me estoy dando cuenta que sí necesito ese tipo de experiencia en mí mismo para conocerme el 100% de mí mismo. Necesito todavía muchas cosas que encontrar dentro de mí.
Sí, sí.
Number 2, gratitude practice shifts focus from what is missing or wrong to what is good in life, taking regular notes of the things you are grateful for. Even in small doses, it can change your perspective over time. Yes, actually, I have had a lot put many plans in my head, and for me, they are experiences that I have had or that I am going to have in the present, or those that come along the way. And yes, I put them into practice, but I didn't pay attention to it. Because I don't understand what I'm thinking, and that brings me a lot of problems at the present. These are things that I hadn't realized that now I'm realizing that I do need that type of experience in myself to know 100% of myself. There are still many things to find within me.
Yes, as you see there, is that he says he didn't understand what he was thinking, And then there are times that you're putting things into practice and you may not identify that you're already doing it. And we see as we started on with the cognitive behavior therapy model, our thoughts, our feeling, our thoughts and emotions and our behavior, what we think affects how we act and feel. Emotion, what we feel affects what we think and do. You have to process your thoughts. You correct everything at the thoughts. We have triggers, thoughts, cravings, actions or / behavior. The way to deal with shit is going to trigger us. We have to correct it at the what? At the thought. At the thought. If not, we're just going on what we call a feeling. This is my thought. This is my thinking now, that we're going on a feeling. And maybe an individual could be thinking more of him or herself than what they realize, or maybe they need someone else to think good about them. And if that other individual is not thinking good about them, then they don't start thinking good about what? Themselves. Mm-hmm. That makes sense to you? So now what the individual said, that he didn't understand or identify that he was thinking good about himself, but we don't need anyone else to validate who we are. We're living in a society where for the most part people need someone else to validate them, social media, whatever it is. We need that stuff to validate us. We don't need that stuff to validate us. So we don't want to keep going on what? A feeling. Now, it says the behavior now, in the cognitive behavior therapy model, what we do affects how we think and what we feel. Mm-hmm. Gratitude practice. Before you have gratitude, you got to have patience. You got to have patience. It says gratitude practice. Shift focus. Shifting your focus from what is missing or wrong to what is what? Good in life. We sometimes get bombarded by social comparison of what we don't have, but we overlook the fact of what we do have. And what do we do have? We have our use of our limbs. We have our faculties. We can see. Some people can see. Some people can hear. And more importantly, that you have what is called life. That's important. What we going to do with it? For example, where we at? Okay. Yes. Practice gratitude. Regularly. There is nothing wrong when you are being grateful for who you are and what you have. And also be grateful that you can learn from others. You can learn from anything, man. Anything and anybody. Be grateful. And be grateful that you're able to learn the lesson, because the blessing comes when you learn the what? The lesson. Even in small dosage. Be grateful for the little steps that you take. You think that a child, when it's coming up, when it wants to walk, is thankful for the little steps they can take. And I know that a parent is grateful when they see the child take their first Their first step. Huh? Yes. Practice gratitude, or gratitude practice. Even small doses can change your outlook and mindset over time. You have just heard a certain portion of this presentation, a change your mindset, a change your mindset. It's written that way twice to traditionally reinforce that we have to change a mindset. It was expressed in English as well as Espanol. Do you have any closing remarks that you want to say? Any closing words that you want to say?
En este nuevo comienzo para mí lo tomo como una segunda oportunidad, porque si mi destino me está ofreciendo, la vida me está ofreciendo una segunda oportunidad, es porque me faltó aprender algo de lo que supuestamente ya yo había aprendido. Solamente quiero decir que a veces los pensamientos hacen equivocar a uno mismo si no está completamente autoprogramado en sí mismo. Yo digo que en realidad hay que tomar las cosas con sinceridad, personalmente con mucha seriedad, para así entonces entornar lo que es el futuro para cada cual de nosotros. Y obviamente ya no voy a pensar en los demás. Ahora lo que voy a pensar es en mí mismo. Voy a tomar cartas sobre el asunto seriamente, y ese es mi propósito ahora, para mi presente y para mi futuro también. Muchas gracias, eso es lo que tendría que decir.
Sí, muchas gracias.
For me, I take this new beginning as a second chance because if my destiny is offering me life, it is offering me a second chance. It is because I failed to learn something that I had supposedly already learned. I just want to say that sometimes thoughts do make oneself wrong, but if it is not completely self-programmed in itself. I say actually, you have to take things sincerely, personally with great seriousness, and then intone what the future is for each one of us, and obviously I will no longer think about it. Now what I'm going to think about is myself. I'm going to take the matter seriously, and that's my purpose now for my present and for my future as well. Thank you very much. That's what I would have to say.
Muchas gracias. Sí, sí, sí.